Recently, I had the opportunity to visit Tunisia, a country that I'd never visited before. And as I always like to travel light, being Capsule Closet Stylist, I decided to go with just carry-on. So today's video is all about how I packed to visit Tunisia. Hi, my name's Michelle Barrett. I've been a personal stylist for 26 years this year. I help you build capsule wardrobes that mix and match easily. So today's video is all about my trip to Tunisia, which is a wonderful, vibrant country full of flat plains, of olive trees, surrounded by cactus, with the odd grazing sheep. It's a beautiful country with influences with Roman architecture, with everything from historical mosques right the way back to Roman architecture and Roman amphitheatres. An absolutely stunning country with beautiful people. I felt so welcome every stretch of my holiday. Now, whilst Tunisia is a very modern country, there are areas, certain mosques, etc., where you want to be a little bit more modest. So I had to consider that in what I was packing as well. So I wanted something for that where it would be much more respectful for me to dress a little bit more modestly. I bought a combination of clothes with me. Like I said, I only had carry-on. So let's dive into how I did it. So the way in which I pack is I always lay out all the options that I think I might bring with me about a week or a few days before. And then what I do is I go back like the day before or a couple of days before, and I usually pull out loads that I know I'm not going to use. Now, with anything, with any packing, you always sometimes bring things that you don't wear, but what you don't want to do is overdo it, particularly if you're only taking carry-on. So I knew that I probably wanted a few pairs of shorts. I wanted tops that would mix and match with them, and a few dresses, and jumpsuits. So jumpsuits mainly for things that were maybe a little bit more practical activities that I might be doing, and then long dresses as well for the times when I might be visiting sites where I needed to be a little bit more modest. So one of the best things to do is to think about where you're going to be by the pool, which I knew I'd be by the pool sometimes at Les Oranges beach resort, which was wonderful, by the way. So I wanted something where I could kind of catch a bit of sunshine. Us Brits love to catch a bit of sunshine when we can, but also to be able to kind of respect those boundaries when I needed to. So I've got a few dresses here. I chose lightweight fabrics, mainly natural fabrics where possible. I do have some man-made fabrics as well, but a lot of my dresses are made of silk and linen, and I've got some linen trousers there, which were great for kind of if I'm out and about in the city or I'm going on an excursion. And I chose longer dresses for kind of so that it allowed my skin to breathe, but also so that if I needed to, I could put a jacket over the top. I also bought my green kind of kimono style jacket, which I bought secondhand from Vinted, which is a really good one for just throwing over your shoulders. It's quite lightweight, but it's kind of very interesting as well, with a gold embroidery on it. So I used that an awful lot on my trip because it was perfect to just throw over my shoulders if I was wearing something where I had my shoulders showing in an area where I felt that I needed to be more covered up. It was a great option because it wasn't too heavy, but it was just light to throw over. So I think, you know, that type of thing works really well. So if you're choosing something like that, choose something that's lightweight that you can, you know, whether it's just a lightweight silk scarf or something that can cover up your top half. But always I would consider trying to find a dress or a skirt that's quite long, or trousers that cover up your legs. And my first day was when we went out to visit a few historical landmarks. So places like Sidi Bou, which are kind of like, it was influenced by when the Europeans came over and they created a whole village which is influenced by some of the Greek villages, very much like Santorini actually, and it's a very, very popular tourist attraction. So I knew I was going to be doing a lot of walking. I knew that it was a nice day that day. It was about 22 degrees. So I wanted to feel cool, but kind of so that if we were going over a slightly difficult terrain, because sometimes these these places can be a bit like that, particularly if you're walking around ruins, which we were later on in the day. I wanted flat, comfortable shoes. I wanted trousers in case I was climbing up things as well. And I decided to give myself a sun hat as well. So I chose this black jumpsuit, which is from Halara. It's kind of really nice and flowy trousers, but it's kind of nice and simple at the top. It's very, very comfortable. It's very, very stretchy at the top. And then I chose my flat Birkenstocks, which I'll be honest with you, I ended up wearing my Birkenstocks for pretty much the whole trip. And my favorite, very faithful straw hat as well. So yeah, that was it. So it was kind of really, really simple, but that worked really well for that day. So I just kept it really simple. You know, you could wear a t-shirt and a pair of trousers. Maybe I could have worn my linen trousers maybe for this day. But the reason why I particularly like jumpsuits, if you have limited space, you kind of, that's it, your outfit's done. I did also bring my green kimono with me as well. So I did have that in the car with me, just in case we were going to be going into somewhere where I did need to cover up a little bit more. So I always had that with me when we were visiting any of these sites as well. But this particular day, it was absolutely fine because we were just walking around this village and some ancient ruins as well. On day 2, I knew that we were going to be visiting some religious historical sites as well. So we were also visiting Kirwan Mosque, which is one of the oldest mosques in Tunisia. So I knew that I needed to cover up a little bit more this day. So I chose my long black dress. I also took my kimono with me as well, so I could cover up my arms a little bit more and also wrap that around myself. And then when we actually entered the mosque, I did choose to wear a headscarf over my hair. I also brought with me my sunglasses. It was another really lovely day. And I chose to wear the Birkenstocks again. Pretty much the Birkenstocks came out for the whole time because, again, they were flat, easy to walk in. I knew we were going to be doing a lot of walking. So, you know, this is an example of what I mean by having a dress or having a skirt, which is kind of very, very, very modern. It's very, very, you know, British, very, very Western, but also you can just kind of use something then to cover up your arms a little bit more, take a headscarf and cover up your hair. And it's just about respecting the culture and the people around you. In addition, the other good thing about this dress is it's very light and kind of flowy. So on a kind of really hot day, it like really allowed my skin to breathe too. If you need a little bit of help with your wardrobe, but you can't kind of quite stretch to a stylist or, you know, buying books, etc., then consider joining my private little community here. I've got a private membership where I come on live once a month. I answer all your questions. You could submit them before. We have a different theme each month, and I interact with those members more than I do anybody else. I prioritize answering their questions. We've got a private community area. I post in that quite regularly. I'll give you special offers. You can even request brands that you particularly want me to approach for special offers if you want to. So that is all for the price of a coffee. It's $4.99 a month. So if that's something that you think that might be helpful to you, it will be kind of a bit of support while you're building your capsule wardrobe, and you can kind of access me a little bit more then. So if you're interested in that, take a look at the link in the notes. Day 3 was very different to day 2. We decided to go quad biking. Now, I was a little bit nervous about this. It was my daughter that actually encouraged me to do it. I'm glad she did. I've never, ever been on a motorcycle, driven a scooter. I drive cars and I have cycles, but that is the closest that I've ever got to it. So I was a little bit nervous. Naturally, 52-year-old on a quad bike for the first time, but I didn't need to be. The way they did it with Quad Hammamet was absolutely wonderful. We got picked up from the hotel, taken to the location, and we both got put on quad bikes. You got your brake, and you got your like I don't know what you call speed, I suppose, on the other side. And you kind of control it. It's about getting control of the actual bike, and then once you've got control of it, it's great. But I knew that we could be out in the middle of nowhere. I knew that it could be quite dusty. I knew that I didn't want skirts. I knew that I definitely wanted trousers. I did consider putting my linen trousers on, but they are quite long. So in the end, I decided to go for this jumpsuit, because I just thought it's comfortable, it's easy for me to wear, because the bottom of the legs are quite kind of tapered in as well. I knew nothing would get caught up anywhere. So I just wanted something that was going to be comfortable and movable. Again, I put it on with my Birkenstocks this day, and yeah, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was fine. I didn't need a jacket this particular day, and I didn't need my straw hat because obviously we were given helmets as well. So when you're doing something like that, it's absolutely fine to kind of go for something a lot more comfortable. Like I say, there's 2 jumpsuits that I bought, and also I've got a couple of dresses as well that I bought, because of course the good thing about that, particularly if you're taking carry-on, is, like I say, it takes up less space, and it's just one outfit. You don't need to think about it. You know, you just put your shoes with it and you just put a hat with it. I did bring sunglasses as well, which I was really pleased about because it was very, very dusty on the route. So I do recommend, if you do decide to go quad biking, definitely bring some sunglasses with you. And yeah, and sometimes, you know, maybe the cloud cover, depending on what time of year you go, you might want a lightweight jacket because you do go at a bit of speed. The other thing is as well, you need to be aware of, they do take you on the straight kind of route and it's absolutely fine, but then they will take you up into the hills, so it is a little bit more tricky then. But I managed it, so if I can manage it, anybody can. But that was really good fun. Now on day 4, we did something I've kind of always wanted to do, and we could arrange it with our resort at Les Oranges Beach Resort in Hammamet. And that was to go horse riding on the beach. Absolutely stunning, beautiful sands, you know, like literally soft golden sands, beautiful blue skies, and on these wonderful horses. Now, the guy that runs it, he is so passionate about his horses. I was chatting to him. He's been working with horses 25 years. Beautiful horses. They were very well looked after, and it was actually a wonderful experience. But again, I knew this was going to be around 1 o'clock, so I knew it was going to be about 21, 22 degrees. So I put on my linen trousers because I knew I wanted something kind of soft and flowy. This time I did put on my trainers because I knew I was going to have to put my feet in the stirrups, and I just thought it was probably a little bit safer having the trainers, and then a t-shirt as well. I did wear my straw hat as I went out because it was quite hot that day, but obviously we were given helmets to wear whilst we were riding anyway. But this was kind of perfect. Again, very, very simple, very, very easy, no fuss. I'm not a big fan of fuss, to be honest, and it did the trick. So this would have been great as well if we'd have been looking around cities, if we'd have gone on a little tour. I probably could have worn this, you know, when I went to visit the historical sites as well. So, you know, it's a really kind of practical outfit. Like I said to you before, linen works really well. Cotton t-shirt allows your skin to breathe, and also it's kind of really good for kind of absorbing heat as well, so that you don't it allows your skin to breathe so that you don't feel kind of overwhelmed as well. So silk dresses are perfect for this kind of thing. If you are going to go away somewhere where the temperature could be quite hot and you do really want to have that kind of airflow, silk can be perfect for that. So it was still worth me packing them. I didn't end up wearing them, but I still think it's fantastic for somewhere like that. And often, actually, you can buy those dresses in places that actually do have the heat because they're used to kind of dealing with it. If you're really struggling with your wardrobe, you can meet me. Book in for a discovery call. I'd love to meet you. It's absolutely free. Just first 15 minutes, we have a little chat about where you're at, and I can talk to you about how I might be able to help you. So I'd love to meet you. If you're interested in that, take a look at the link in the notes. Last but not least was this dress. So basically this again was perfect. It's got a long sleeve. It's a little bit low here, but I can kind of wear a vest or something like that underneath it. You can buy these in lots of different places, in lots of different colours as well. It is actually full length, as you can see in the video. And so this kind of thing is perfect. It isn't in silk, but it is very light and flowy, so it works really well. This was our last day, so we were just having lunch, hanging out at the beach, not particularly going anywhere. But this kind of thing works really, really well to put over swimwear. So if you are heading to the beach or you're heading to the pool and you want something a little bit like a caftan to stick over the top of your swimwear, this kind of thing works really well, particularly if you are in a country where you do have to maybe think a little bit about modesty. It would be a great way to cover up. Now, alongside kind of packing previously, it is often quite difficult if you are going from one particular climate to another one to actually envisage what you're going to need. So that's why I think sometimes people overpack. But the key is, I think, layers. And also, like I've said a few times in this video, jumpsuits and dresses work really well because, of course, it's one block piece. I would look into the country. I always look at the temperature of what it's been that week or what it's predicted to be that week to get an idea of what to bring with me. I also look at the culture and what's to be expected in terms of what you wear and what's the most respectful thing to do. But in addition, and on top of that, because I often find that sometimes what's written online isn't entirely accurate. I mean, for example, I see some terrible examples of what you can and can't wear in Europe from some sites. It's really, really bad, saying you can't wear jeans in Europe. Take a look at my video actually about visiting Europe if you are coming here, because I dispel a lot of those myths. So it's exactly the same whether you're visiting Tunisia or you're visiting Morocco or wherever you're going. If you know the culture is slightly different, yes, look at what's online and get some ideas, but also ask when you get there, because what you often find is what the content says in a lot of these videos or blog posts is a very, very extreme version of what the actual fact is once you get there. So be realistic as well and ask the people on the ground there what their thoughts are and what you should do, because they will give you the answers more than anybody else anywhere else who's been visiting. If you really struggle with your wardrobe, why don't you download my Capsule wardrobe planner? It's absolutely free. Kind of just put your details in, get the download. You can fill it out as you go along. It really helps you make decisions about your wardrobe. So I'll put the link to that in the notes. So I hope you found that helpful. I want to say thank you so much to Les Oranges Beach Resort and the Visit Tunisia tourism board for a wonderful experience. It was one of the best places I've been. I will definitely be going back. If you've got any questions about my visit to Tunisia, if you've got any questions, if you're going there yourself, if you've got any questions about what to pack, what not to pack, about the airport, about security, everything else, absolutely put those comments below and I will aim to reply to you as soon as possible. So have a wonderful week wherever you are. I hope you're getting to visit somewhere yourself, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.